Hey everyone, it's Krista from Krista Irene Art. Join me in this painting session where I walk you through the process on how to paint a mermaid on a canvas. You can use paper if you like. You probably just need some acrylic paint and maybe a pencil, and you can follow along and join me. My studio is quite small, but we'll see if we can get this done. So I primed this painting with gesso and some just cheap acrylic paint, and now I'm going to get started on maybe fixing this up a little bit and then mapping out the mermaid.
So I added some darker blue on the canvas and I'm just sort of moving it around.
And I kind of like the way this blue is sort of peeking through. And I might add some lighter blue just because, you know, the darker and like the bottom of the ocean would be darker. And as you head to the top, it would be lighter. So I just have this really old Liquitex acrylic ink. And I'm just gonna see what happens. So now I'm gonna go in the top with a little bit of like a lighter blue. This is the background to the mermaid, and since it's going to be different layers, you don't have to worry a whole lot about having it be perfect. Okay, so the next part is to map out the mermaid. I have been using oil pastels to map out things on canvas or even my art journal. You have to wait for the canvas to be completely dry. I took a hair dryer to it and I dried it, and now I'm going to sort of map out how I want this mermaid to look. And I do look at photos for inspiration, but ultimately it's going to be my own creation. So I think, and again, because this is intuitive art, I'm not into realism and I'm not into like perfect proportions, especially since I'm just like drawing it on my own. Yeah, I look at photos just to sort of like, how do I want her to look? But ultimately, when it comes to the proportions, I'm doing it on my own. So I know that it's not going to be perfect. But I also think that that sometimes plays into the look of the piece. I don't want it to be perfect. So hopefully you can see, but I'm going to start with just the head here. And the other thing too is when you're doing this, you're going to paint over it, and you're going to paint over it, and so you can play with it as you go. So that's just her head, and I'm not aiming for perfection, especially when I draw this, because I'm going to be painting over it as we go. So I'm just getting the, you know, the proportions, sort of trying to make sure my proportions are right. So that's her hips, right? And I'm going to be painting over this. Even if this peeks through, it still looks kind of cool. So I want to get the hips right. And then I'm going to have her something like this. And then I think her tail's going to be, I almost want, like some of the mermaids I see have these really fun, like almost like goldfish tails. I don't know if her, I think this might be right. So you could see how I just sort of mapped it out. And I'm going to be painting on and around this. So like, how do I want her hair? I think I want her hair to come down there. Something like that. We'll see how that looks. I'm not sure about her arms, but again, I'll play with that after. So all I did, I'm trying to not to get my hair in this, but all I did was I did a circle, an oval. I made sure I got her proportions right here, and then her hips. And then I drew the tail. So the first part is the first half of her body, like you would draw like a real person, and then instead of the legs, you're just gonna swoop in and do the body. So I have this copper, like a nice shine to it. I'm kind of wondering which side I could go on. Okay. I'm gonna have to, there we go. And I'm just kind of going around her face. I feel like her face is a little too round. It needs to be a little more oval. And we'll put her hair here for now, sort of. I kind of like that. I guess it's Ariel-like in a way with the red hair. So I like the way that looks. I think her tail might have little, maybe her tail might have little bits of this copper color, and almost likely paint over this, but maybe it'll be nice to have a little bit of the copper peek out. So I like the way that looks. And again, I'm just going with the flow. I think I might map in her face a bit. The face can be quite a challenge. Okay, so for her face, I have this Winsor Newton acrylic. If you're not good with mixing skin tones,
then you can find some paints at the paint store and look for different colors that are pre-mixed into skin tones that you can use.
and so now I'm going to get a little white. So I really want to get her face done before I continue on, because that is one of, for me personally, the biggest challenges is getting a face done properly. So I am going to see if I can make this look good. And I'm really going to try hard not to overdo her face. On her tail, I want to put some gold on there. I think I'm just gonna go over it a bit. I liked the copper. I didn't really care a whole lot for so much gold. So I know I'm gonna go in with the blue around here to sort of fix a little bit of it. I think I'm gonna try to create like a light from the top coming down. I'm using a gloss medium with some blue. So this is how the painting turned out. What happened was my phone stopped recording. I've been having some issues with my phone, but this is how it turned out. I'm really happy with it. I added some sparkles on her crown. I probably can't see it that well. And at the edge of her tail. But I also added some splash of water coming up around her tail. I'm really happy with how this painting came out, and I'm probably going to do some more mermaids. So thank you guys for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you later.